Being in a country whereby Christians are being killed, Christians are being denied. Okay, look at what happened to the other lady called Deborah some time ago. She was killed as a Christian, and she's a Christian, and up till now she has not gotten justice. There's no justice, and nothing is being done. You know, so Christians are now being scared to move about. Christians are scared to worship freely. The priests, the lay leaders, I mean, the seminarians and all that. So things need to be done. It's bad. And if things are not done, this will continue, because Nigeria, I know, they're not willing to stop anytime soon. So for me, it's very important they come in, because this has been happening for a couple of years now. Nothing has been done. So I feel if Donald Trump said they don't want to come in, they should come in, and there's nothing wrong with that.
President Trump ordering the Pentagon to prepare for possible fast military action in Nigeria if the country fails to crack down on the mass killing of Christians.
Rebecca Castor joins us live from Washington, D.C. with those details. Rebecca, good morning.
Rachel, good morning. Yeah, President Trump is not mincing words here. This is what he said on Truth Social yesterday. If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into the now disgraced country at guns a-blazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible attack. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth got the message and says the Department of War is preparing for action. The response comes as the persecution of Christians in Nigeria has reached crisis levels. Islamist militants have burned down churches and Christian schools. And international civil rights groups estimate more than 50,000 Christians have been murdered in the country since 2009. But the president of Nigeria claims the reports of violence are misleading and says on X the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant does not reflect our national reality, nor does it take into consideration the consistent and sincere efforts of the government to safeguard freedom of religion and beliefs for all Nigerians. And our administration is committed to working with the United States government and international community to deepen understanding and cooperation of communities of all faiths. President Trump also recently redesignated Nigeria as a country of concern after former President Biden removed it from the list in 2021.
We've been hearing this from, groups like BOKO, HARAM since the Obama days. Remember when they kidnapped those girls, and there was this whole campaign to bring back the girls, and many of those girls are still in captivity.
Donald Trump has once again done something that no one had the heart, desire, or empathy to do. Donald Trump has now warned the Nigerian government that the persecution of Christians by the Muslim element within their country will no longer be tolerated. No longer will the West sit by and watch as religious persecution takes place in a country that claims to be a defender of religious freedom. Everywhere I look, I see the people of Nigeria celebrating this decision, celebrating this position that Trump is taking. But when I look globally at people who are not Nigerian, who are not suffering religious persecution, who are not even Christians, I see nothing but people casting doubt on whether or not the religious persecution of Christians is actually happening in Nigeria. I see the Muslim world making a concerted effort to downplay what's really going on in Nigeria, including but not limited to the president of Nigeria, Tinubu. But you know what? I don't really care what these people say. I don't really care if they deny the validity of the claims that are being made, because they're not claims. If you talk to any Nigerian person, they will tell you that the religious motivated persecution and killings have been going on in Nigeria for years. But recently, it has increased since the beginning of 2025. Over the timeline, across the timeline, there's been about 17,000 deaths related to religious persecution. And many Nigerian people say that the amount of deaths is greatly understated. It's underestimated, because some people are even saying that it's triple the amount that's being reported. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether it doesn't matter if it's one death. It doesn't matter if it's 20,000 deaths. The only thing that matters is a country that claims to be a champion of religious freedom is sitting idly by as a large segment of their population is being persecuted, and they're doing absolutely nothing. And now Donald Trump has stepped up to take a stand against what is happening. He is threatening sanctions, and suddenly Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, who happens to be a Muslim, wants to come out and call foul and basically say that's what's going on in Nigeria is being exaggerated and taken out of context.
President Donald Trump has threatened military action in Nigeria over alleged killing of Christians. Now, Trump threatened to send US forces into Nigeria with guns a-blazing if Nigeria does not stem what he described as the killing of Christians by Islamists. Now, the US president said that he has asked the Pentagon to map out a possible plan of attack. Trump's warning came a day after he had said that Christianity was facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Trump said if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the United States will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. He then went on to mention that there is a possibility of a military action to wipe out Islamic terrorists who are committing horrible atrocities. Trump's Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, responded to Trump's post, saying that his department is preparing for action. He added, either the Nigerian government protects Christians or we will kill the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. He did not add how US will target these alleged terrorists. Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had earlier pushed back on Trump.
It makes no sense. I keep telling folks, black folks, my folk, right? Stop with the nonsense. You need to support whoever supports you. And it made me very proud to see many, many, many Nigerians in the comments under the videos of covering Trump's very serious warning that he gave to Nigeria, praising President Donald Trump and thanking him for having the courage to do what no one else would. This has been going on for years. There has been radio silence. All these African leaders will jump their ass up to go try to negotiate stuff that's going on between Israel and the Palestinians, but will be totally silent when it comes to the persecution that's going on on their own continent. Now make that make sense to me. But what I've realized is, when it comes to Pan-Africanism, when it comes to Black unity, global Black empowerment, I never stopped being a believer. I never stopped wanting that for Black folks all over the world. What it is that I'm just the minority that actually wants to see it happen. And I'm pushing and fighting against the majority that just wants to use Blackness as some type of disability, use Blackness as a reason to constantly play the victim card, point the finger at the white man and other groups who we claim are persecuting us, while in reality, we turn a blind eye to our persecution of each other. On one hand, you got Black folk celebrating leaders like Ibrahim Traore over in Burkina Faso, who also happens to be Muslim. But on the other hand, you got Black folks ignoring the fact that Muslims, terrorists, are persecuting and slaughtering Christians and people of other religious denominations all across West Africa. It's just a contradiction. And what's so sad to see is that even when Donald Trump steps up to take a stand against it, you still have people in the comments trying to trying to spin what Donald Trump is doing into something bad. How can it be bad to fight for life? How can it be bad to threaten a government that is not protecting its people? I don't care what you try to compare it to, but it doesn't matter where you go, America, the UK, etc. You do not see people being slaughtered over their religious beliefs or their religious positions. You just don't see that. You don't see it. And America may not be perfect. The West may not be perfect. But even when you go to places like Kenya, my favorite country in Africa, you don't see that mess going on. They might go off on each other over an election, but you see Muslims and Christians living in harmony. So when you see what's going on in places like Nigeria, when you see what's going on in places like Burkina Faso, you know that this is simply a matter of the government not doing enough to enforce the laws, around religious freedom. They are not making it very clear that they will not tolerate religious persecution on any level of any group, no matter what their religious beliefs may be. So I don't want to hear this crap where you're trying to make people feel bad for supporting Trump and what he's doing. Trump is doing something where others have done nothing. And this includes Black folks. This includes Black folks. We can't come together on hatred. And many times when I look at my people and the way we act online, it's like all we want to do is come together over negativity and our collective jealousy and hatred for other groups. And it's like, bro, we got to deal with our collective jealousy and hatred amongst our own group before we can come together, period. We got to deal with the divisions within our own ranks. Because it seems like all we can do is hate on other groups because all we do is hate on each other. When you sit up and try to make someone seem bad for saving life, when you sit up and try to paint someone in a negative light because they are standing up for people who cannot stand up for themselves. Donald Trump said there will be vicious military action against Nigeria if they don't uphold their own damn constitution. And I see, African folks talking about, well, we're okay with them coming in to help and intervene, but we don't want them to rule us. No one's trying to rule you. You not even trying to rule you. You'll sit up these damn Nigerian Christian ministers making billions of dollars, but haven't moved a finger to defend their flock from the marauders in the north who are taking their lives, whether it be over land or simply over religious differences. Y'all sitting up here talking this mess. At this point, it's looking like Trump is the realest out. It seemed like Trump might be one of the few real ones that are actually involved in geopolitics. Because Trump hears about it, he doesn't like it, he knows it's wrong, and he does something about it. And the sad thing is that can't be said for many politicians. Couldn't be said for Biden, can't be said for AOC, can't be said for any of these people who sit up and prefer to live in delusion if they believe, just because they believe that gives them a political advantage. It's a bunch of mess. It needs to be dealt with. We need to stop being ignorant and support Donald Trump because he's looking out for people who can't defend themselves and they happen to be black. There's no reason to dislike this guy at this point. You might not agree with him on some of the things he does, but you have to give credit where credit is due. That's where my granny taught me. That's what I'm going to do. And you can make your own way and decide what's best for you. But I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Till the next time, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.